Jared, we're here with Gulls Eye View today. I'm joined with Boston College Eagle and relief pitcher for the Gulls, Eric Stone. Eric, you've been out with a little bit of an injury for about a month. Your last appearance was actually June 17th. You came out last night and pitched an inning. What was that injury initially?
So I strained my oblique on the left side when I was pitching. I was doing my warm-up pitches about 3 weeks ago today, and that's all it was. Just pulled the oblique during my warm-up pitches and had to sit out and rehab that for a little while.
So it's just sort of a freak thing, or was it a re-aggravation of something you've had in the past?
Yeah, it was just a freak thing. It was my first warm-up pitch, and I just didn't stride as far as usual, and I hit the hole of where you land and slipped a little bit, and as I was torquing through and pulled it that way. It's a little freak thing.
So you've been out about 3 weeks or so. What's the rehabilitation program been like?
The beginning of the rehab program was just real light. I couldn't really move much. It was just real tight. But the training staff was really great. They helped me really stretch it out and get it loosened up again. And then it was just getting back into the throwing and working through a little tightness and soreness. And eventually it got to the point where took a couple days off and it was back to normal and got back to games.
So when were you cleared to go back into action?
I was cleared to go back into action as throwing bullpen-wise last week, middle last week, Tuesday or so, Wednesday.
And before the game last night, were you told you were going to make an appearance last night, and was there any sort of pitch count when you did enter the game?
Well, I had thrown a bullpen on Thursday, and that was my second one where I had no pain. I felt good, and we were banking on Sunday being my day to go back in, and I asked if I could be ready for Saturday. Because we had a doubleheader, I wanted to be available if we needed the help. I had a lot of innings to throw. So Saturday was my day, and it wasn't a definite, but once I didn't throw Saturday, I was pretty positive I was going in last night. So, and it was just going to be one inning stint, and that's all it was, and it was great.
How did you feel out there on the mound last night? How do you think your performance went?
I felt pretty good. I was happy with myself for throwing strikes, especially first time having a batter there in 3 weeks. That's normally the tough part of getting back on the mound rather than thinking about the injury. And I felt pretty good, so I was happy with it. I was happy with how I felt, and I felt I threw pretty well. A couple little bad pitches, but nothing to get myself upset over when I hadn't thrown in 3 weeks. So.
Now, you've been out for about 3 weeks, as we've mentioned a few times, and you had to sit and watch a lot of games. What's it been like having to sit on the bench, not able to get in there and help your team out?
It's been terrible. I hated watching, not being able to help out. You could see sometimes guys looked a little tired, and it would have been great to be able to get in there and use that spot and save someone else from being tired and be able to get in the game and help the team win and stuff. It really wasn't a fun time at all to have to sit out and watch and not be a part of the victories and losses and just the game in general.
And now you're back and healthy and ready to go. What's some of the things you're working on the mound this summer?
This summer I'm working on just getting back to throwing strikes, getting back to the basics of just repeating delivery all the time, and just staying consistent, being able to compete every time I'm out there.
Now you go to Boston College, the Superfans, well known around New England. Some people love them, some people don't. We've had some big crowds here at Newport. How do the crowds here compare to the crowds at BC?
Well, the crowds here for baseball games are great. It's tough to compete with them. We don't have a lot of stands and everything at school, so we don't get as many fans here. But the super fans are nuts, especially hockey and football games. It's a different world. You got to come out to see it in order to really understand.
Been to a few BC football games before. The jury's still out on how I feel about the Superfans, but it's not about me. It's about you. I was Gulls Eye View with Eric Stone. Thanks for your time. The Gulls pregame show continues here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.